things he told me before he died was that I will put every dollar I have into a barrel in my backyard and light it on fire before I pay these give 1 cent. So the IRS came after my clients for $2.8 million and I got it settled for $271,000. In 2013, a client came to me and said, the IRS keeps sending me these notices that I owe all this money. My client was a hospital administrator in Houston, Texas. The C-suite was stealing money out of the operating account. In order to keep his employees paid, the nurses and the orderlies, he would handwrite checks when he knew there was money in the account. He was trying to be the good guy. The FBI comes in, they shut everything down. They ask him to stay on to help run the company because he wasn't embezzling anything, but the C-suite was. That goes on for probably about a year of his life. And they say, thank you for your help. He goes on his way. Fast forward, he gets a letter from the IRS saying, you owe all these taxes for all these checks you wrote and for what the company didn't pay us. And it amounted to about $2.3 to $2.8 million. Tragedy hits. He gets pancreatic cancer. We are years into this case. It only got worse from there. I ended up having to depose my own client because he was given 3 to 6 months to live. He rolls in a wheelchair. He's in terrible pain, on oxygen. The person that works for the Department of Justice, the attorney, starts asking questions. We wrap it up pretty quickly and he goes on back to his ranch. Well, he dies and the case is not over. So now I have to substitute his wife in as the administrator of the estate. The Department of Justice will seize their assets to pay this liability. We got treated terribly by this judge. She said things in front of my client that were horrible. She should have been reprimanded for it. Let's be clear. I had a pretty good rapport with the Department of Justice attorneys because the original attorney ends up retiring during all this. And I get these new attorneys in and we start talking. Another one of their attorneys resigns. So I'm dealing with my third attorney and I start explaining to him, hey, my guy was the good guy. Why are you coming after him? I start bringing up all these other officers that have already settled their cases and they settled their cases for a lot more than they came after my client for, who was the good guy who helped the FBI track down all these bad people and bring the money back and pay everything. We're setting the case for trial, filing motions left and right. And finally, I just say, well, you know what? I'm just going to bring in the CEO, the CFO, the COO, and I'm going to put them on the stand. And I'm going to have them talk about their settlements with the Department of Justice and how much they paid. And then I'm going to drag out my client's DVD of my deposition of my own client because he was dying. And I'm going to show that jury this man and everything he went through and the fact that the Department of Justice is now going after a dead